2, 3, play. Hello, this is Scratch, and that's Dennis. Say hi, Dennis.
Hello.
And this is Hidden Community Cup 5 Jean Bureau bracket. Group stage between Karabast in blue as the Goths and Darren in red as the Huns. And we're on slopes, or as Dennis has gotten me to think about it, Arabia adjacent. It really is just Arabia with stuff.
It's kind of like a little bit like evacuation as well, right? Because you have to go to expand for the wood lines on the left and right. I mean, for me, it's claustrophobic. There was a practice set that I played.
You have to expand. You have to expand. I don't think you have to go to the sides.
Yeah.
But I do think moving forward is definitely that's a choice, right? Like that is. There's no way that's not a severely aggressive action.
Yeah.
You were saying a practice set.
Yeah, I played a practice set recently, and my opponent at that time managed to kind of wall in, turtle up to Castle Age, and push it towards late game. So, it was definitely an amount of work that needed to be done because there was stone walls being placed, but it definitely showed that you can play slopes in different ways. You don't always have to be aggressive, or even the expansions. It's not as easy to pressure. At least for me, it wasn't easy.
Now, I don't know if you saw that with Darren's board just now. Sorry not to ignore you, but I just noticed something. Darren pulled his boar, hopped into the TC, did not seem to take a shot at the boar with the TC, pulled his villagers out and killed him the old-fashioned way. It was very odd. I don't know if you noticed.
I mean, just attempting that at 600 elo in a tournament game is...
I can't do it. It scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I would probably think that I'll shoot the board down in a tournament game and be severely disadvantaged, especially as Huns. You can only palisade wall this map, right? So,
yes. Well, I mean, you can only palisade wall, period, because they can't do house walls.
Yeah, period for this game. So
now, I will say both players are really good sheep discipline, which, like we are starting to find out, especially at this elo, is a skill. It is something that it's just a moment of babysitting, but you really need to do. Oh, he's doing it! Darren's doing it!
Okay, he's not risking it.
Yeah,
there's one shot to the boar, and
oh no!
And then
oh no, he lost a vill. Okay.
Yes,
that's okay. It's pressure, you know. So, as we were saying, that's why we don't do that. TC killing boar is terrifying. One day I'll figure out how to do it. I know Kiyarson makes it look easy.
But that's how you learn, right? You can kind of keep doing it, and at one point, Darren's going to be better than us, probably before the end of the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably see Darren in the upper brackets.
Oh, yeah.
Just like how Painter and Cubeback are right now.
Yeah. They're both here, right?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Painter is rocking it. He's sweeping all the sets that he's playing, and
is he still a psychopath? Is he still doing weird stuff?
I've not been watching his games
we gotta,
as much, but yeah.
I don't want to say this because then we might be obligated, but I kind of want to do the revisited with those two. That'd be really cool. Okay, we've got lumber camp already up and chopping away. Not a lot of revealing information yet for either. I feel like as a Huns player on this map, you've got to go aggressive, but then you're running into Goths, which is never fun. That's an awkward boar pull, but I guess it works. Okay.
There's a mill there, so it kind of works. But yeah, I mean, you want more villagers on the board because boar is a lot of food, and the DK does matter, especially for the boar. But yeah, I guess it's not too bad. 6 villagers on it at the moment, and DC is queued up again, so that's good.
Darren, it's so far under 1 minute of idle time, which is really good. I watched a 1200 player get.
Darren already has the resources to click up, so
yeah, just hasn't yet.
Yeah,
maybe behind a villager. Yep, there it is. I watched a 1200 player in a random match I was watching get to feudal age with 0 idle time, and I was just upset.
I saw that. You said it was Georgians.
Yeah.
Was it 17 pop-up feudal age? I've never
No,
really tried those.
I think it was 20. I think it was just a regular old, like, 20 feudal age, but 0...
Okay.
I don't recall 100%, but I think it was... I don't remember noticing that it was, like, 17 or something.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's that sounds good. I mean, I think the timing that you mentioned, like 7 minutes or something, I was like, ooh, this is like 2 or 3 villages earlier.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. It was really good. And then like he hit Castle Age, and there was finally some idle time on the board, and I felt very relieved. I'm like, oh, good, they're mortal. We've got some pigs on the back end of Karabast space. We always want to make sure that we're using our scout and getting our pigs. I've definitely seen the scout standing around a little bit. We want to get our sheep.
It's very unlucky, right? I think Karabast is also probably shift queuing the scouts.
I don't know anyone who does that too much. That's me. I do that. Dennis has called me out on it. I don't even look at the map. I click on the mini map and shift queue my scout because I'm a coward. And then my scout dies.
Yeah, that's the part that bothers me more.
Okay, 3 militias off the bat. Okay.
It's Goths.
Yeah, it's Goths. That's I feel it.
I think it's going to be 3 militia, wait for feudal age, get man at arms, and then go forward, probably.
Or maybe have these villagers go forward with the militia and drop a second barracks. I can see that.
Oh yeah, that's true. Karabast is kind of known, at least during the games that I watched before the tournament began.
Where's this lady going? Oh no, she's
it's just a wall up. But it is Huns, and I can see Huns being heavy in feudal age in a regular ranked game. I mean, regular elo, higher elo games. I don't know what Darren's thinking. Is Darren thinking of dropping another one after another 4 wood?
Yeah, it's a little...
Just waiting for the wood to drop the military building is what I'm thinking.
Well, we built a barracks first, which is a little awkward.
Villager is going,
stable.
Yeah. Okay. Stable, yeah. Okay, so stable's fine, I think.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about the barracks first, though. Wouldn't you want your stable up first? Yeah, like all conventional wisdom tells me the second you're in feudal, you want to be dropping your military building.
Oh, you mean the barracks should have come earlier, right?
No. Look behind the barracks. He built a blacksmith in feudal age first, before building the stable.
Oh, you meant the blacksmith. Okay, all right.
And I feel like getting that stable up first makes a lot more sense.
I mean, if Goths actually go for scouts, that would have gotten value. I mean, man-at-arms also would. With 4 man-at-arms, probably can pressure the wood and
Karabast missed the villagers on the lake there. This is good research on the map to know to use these fish ponds. It's really good. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, actually Karabast doesn't know about the showfish being taken, so that's good for Darren. Because that's a very fast food income, and the scouts could fight here because more HP on the scout from Darren, but Darren chooses just to keep all the HP alive and scout the opponent instead.
There goes the man-at-arms.
Man-at-arms, there are man-at-arms, yeah. I missed the research, but they are coming through.
That scout is
and
super
the scout's
dead.
going to be dead, yep. Again, probably shift queued, yeah.
Yeah. I think he was actually clicked into the base in the pack of enemies.
I've done that too, and okay, there's just a gate from the villager and blacksmith. Is he actually thinking of getting an armor upgrade on the infantry before moving out?
Could be.
Or it could be just a castle age building. He has 565 wood, maybe Darren or Karabast is just thinking of getting the resources and then going up, but Darren is faster to the market, could try to use the market to go faster to castle, has the goal to use the market to do things.
Yeah, I will say this build order for Karabast is a little awkward because it feels like we wanted to be aggressive in very early feudal age, but then we weren't. And that's just a little awkward for me.
Yeah, if you make man-at-arms, I mean, at least for me, I
Use 'em.
feel like
Send 'em
that's something
forward.
that you need to use. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's gonna delay your castle age. But as I say that, fletching from Darren, so archers probably.
we've
I don't
replaced
remember seeing.
we've
Oh, there is an
replaced
archery
the
range now.
scout that we lost as well, which I like. I like the little stone wall. Darren is a little haphazard. I feel like Karabast is playing this a little more cleanly. But I will say I feel like Darren, in spite of me saying it's haphazard, Darren seems to have a plan, whereas Karabast seems to be figuring out their plan, if that makes sense.
I mean, Darren's faster to castle, so
yes,
it's easy to defend against man-at-arms.
especially when they walk directly under the town center.
Yeah, it happens to me as well, so I understand this
Oh,
happening.
not the farms. Oh,
But yeah.
I love the preemptive stone walls on the gold mine. That's really good.
Okay, now there's only 2 pikes and 2 man-at-arms. It's actually just bait them into the TC, right? Just take your pikes, move towards. Okay, they are. Oh, that's being watched over, so that's good from Karabast. Ooh. Okay, another man-at-arms about to die. No, okay.
Yes, it's very awkward.
Pretty.
There it goes. He noticed.
Okay, if it's archery range, I would have probably expected archers to be made already. Darren's actually playing quite greedy. No army, just go up to castle, then make cav archers, maybe.
Could be. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I don't think you have enough gold for to easily mass cav archers, but I guess you can go knights.
Ooh, okay. Are we gonna tower?
And there's more. Actually, you do have another bunch of villagers on top of the slopes too.
Oh, love that wall. Well done.
That a quick wall?
Kind of. I don't want to call it a quick wall. He did it preemptively, but it was very cleanly done.
Yep.
I'll call it a fast wall,
so,
not a quick wall. And
okay. Yep.
So they're definitely greedy, but it's paying off for him so far.
Yeah, I mean,
second range.
There is gold on the slopes as well, which I missed. So I guess you have the wooden gold to mask cav archers.
Yes, and they had already moved to the gold pile on that slope a while ago.
And given that Karabast is just doubling down on infantry, I think the cav archers are going to do really, really well.
Now, Darren is having some problems with the fact that the man-at-arms and spears can fight through the corners, but they're working it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Okay, let's see this micro game. Big fan of it so far. Kind of. There we go. Oh, and the TC. Well done.
Instead of armor, I would prefer Bodkin, but...
Yeah, Bodkin first, for sure. So, Dennis and I have talked about this a lot, in that, generally speaking, in our non-professional opinion, armor is the way to go unless you're using ranged units. Then you want to get your attack upgrade first, and then you get armor. Versus melee units get armor first, and then get attack.
I mean, to be fair, skirms, I still think that skirms against archers, getting armor is really good. Because I think that still works, but yeah, I think still range is really useful. And probably will be best over anything.
Range will usually keep your ranged units alive fast more than their armor until they are actively engaging in combat.
Yep.
Okay,
Bodkin's coming up. So...
I like the second TC, not the most aggressive position we could do with it. Meanwhile, behind this, because I've been staring at Darren all day, I mean, Darren's getting cozy.
Yeah, I think Karabast has only palisade walls, and so once you have enough cav archers, you can just melt through the palisade walls and start raiding.
What do you think's enough? 9? I think 9's
I think
enough.
he already has enough, because there's no camels or that you need to worry from Gots. What do you expect? I mean, maybe skirms in defense from Gots?
Huskarls, right?
Huskarls.
Not immediately, but eventually,
yeah,
right?
I mean, yeah, if you probably won't have enough castles already, and...
Well, you say that, but they are already on stone. So
yep.
I think that is the end goal, but I'd say Huskarls and monks, perhaps?
Oh, For late game, you're saying? Oh yeah, for late game, once Goths
Well,
are
I mean,
uninterrupted and they play the long game, I think Goth spam will kill Huns regardless.
I mean,
because
you say
you
late
can't
game,
easily-
but I think that's coming in about the next 5 minutes.
I think small units of Huskarls can be dealt with knights. Huns, I mean, Huskarls would die to knights, so it's fine. I think it's just the infantry spam from Goths that gets annoying.
Now, Darren is riding a 10 villager high over Karabast right now.
And Karabast is also reacting right now. Skirms is a good counter to Kavarches, but it's not really gonna give you map control, right? It's more of a defensive unit right now.
But skirms with walls and pikemen to support could do the job. It's gonna take a lot, though.
Spoken like a true Byzantines player, but
okay, yeah, that's true. All right, that's fair. I'll take that. I'm getting bullied for my player history. No, okay, no, that's not fair, because what did you say it was when we first met? It was like 150-something games before the tournament started? Alright, yeah, no, I deserve that. Yeah, wow, you're not kidding, that was like 5 shots?
Oh, but you need to watch out, because once they...
1, 2... 2? I mean,
yeah,
2 of those are as good as dead. Oh. Okay, so we've got some micro from Darren. We definitely need to pay a little bit more attention.
Yeah, and Darren's thinking of getting...
okay. Alright, that's okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of idle time from... So you Huns, so you just easily switch to Knights now, I think. Or just Scouts. Kavarches Scouts could also be good.
Is Karabast targeting the ones that are weak? Or is that just coincidence? I think it's just coincidence, okay. No, it might be. I mean, okay.
I mean, skirms are skirms, right?
Yeah. So, Karabast, I hate the bell. I've talked about this a lot. It bleeds idle eco. But that being said, I get it. Of all the enemy in the game, horse archers are terrifying. So it's a good thing to defend your villagers, but right now your economy is suffering while your opponent's economy is flourishing.
I mean, honestly, now Darren just needs to close it out. You come with knights, you make a few rams. Honestly, rams could be enough to kill the game.
Yeah.
But as I say that, Kavarches dive into the TC and probably give some breathing room to Karabast.
Yeah. Now we need to unring the bell and get our guys back to work. There we go.
Okay. Darren was active with the army, so the TC has been idle.
Yeah. But we have a 20.
Idle,
but we have a 20 villager lead, so.
Yeah. Also idle the opponent eco. So Darren can drop a castle somewhere if Darren chooses to, and Tarkins would also melt buildings if that is another option to melt buildings instead of rams.
I think that castle's going to go right up on this gate for Karabast. That's where I would put it. It covers the stone, it covers the gold. He's locked in this base already, and then you can start flooding Tarkins into his base. Then you don't need rams.
Yeah. I knew you meant Darren. Yeah.
No. Karabast. So Darren putting the castle on Karabast. That's what I meant.
Yep.
Now, we didn't comment on the TC on the slope, but I really like that. It gives a nice defensive building on the slope for Darren so that he can be aggressive with that cavalry archer army so that he has the option to defend his villagers that way if he has to, versus like walling up, building military buildings over there, and splitting his build locations.
I mean, if Darren doesn't want to switch to knights or something like that, because that's a big tech switch, you can just make a siege workshop mangonel, and that could deal with the skirms. And as I say that, now knights are being queued. So
somebody clipped that Dennis is advocating for a mangonel. I'm gonna use that in future videos.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it. I've been clipping a few things from the tournament so far.
We've got monks. Now this monk has been shift queued. by Darren to grab up these relics, which is really good to see. Even if it doesn't work out, I like, at this elo, I like shift queuing your monk to just pick up the relics, because like, best case scenario, you just happen to get 3 or 4 relics.
Also, monks on the field, the only purpose is to collect relics and heal units.
Yes. Conversions are hard.
Yeah, I guess conversions can happen, but by the time God's play is settled, I mean, you don't want it to get to a point where the infantry spam happens. It's going to be a pain to deal with even if you win. So, but yeah, there's no mangonels through. There's only cav archers and knights, which kind of will stall out Gots, but eventually there's going to be a castle that you need to pressure.
We've got 27 farms to 12. Towards
Darren's definitely in the lead. Darren's definitely gonna. This is Darren's game to lose.
Yeah.
But there is time for Karabast to.
Yeah, I definitely think Darren's on a clock right now because Goths. But this eco is really good. But
as I say that, Horse Collar from Karabast just comes in, so maybe there's it's going to take some time for Karabast to get the eco running because you're going to run out of wood quickly, but reseeding new farms is going to be easier.
Yeah, while I like the army numbers that I'm seeing from Darren, I really would appreciate finishing this wall up. We're already halfway through doing it, and it's been very handy so far.
You have so much I mean, you can drop 2 castles on your opponent right now.
Yes. or 2 castles defensively on either side of these farms to protect them from raid.
I think Darren's just thinking about Imperial Age now. So I guess pushing him is what Darren's style is.
Sure.
So villagers are coming forward to drop the castle, and I guess push off with trebs, knights, cav archers, kind of forcing the issue. I think that's going to end the game.
Yeah,
and
I would agree.
Yeah.
But as I was saying, I would like to see this crux of economy, this 33 farms and a gold mine. I'd like to see at least a castle there, if not fully walled up. Just because you can't assume that your opponent is going to be as passive as this.
So Goths actually has stone for castle just to avoid units from running in. And you need to send a lot more wills.
Where I said it was going to be.
And the skirms are delaying the castle too.
This is really good from both. Oh, and the siege workshop on the back.
So there's 9 villages building for
the scout coming in to distract the cav archers. I don't think that's intentional, but it's a nice convenience.
Okay, the skirms are actually delaying the castle from going up, but and also pulling more villagers to drop the castle. But behind this, Darren has the resources to click up imp, so this forward castle actually is going to be a pain.
The unfortunate reality is that these villagers can just pull back and finish that castle. They're not in range of Karabast castle.
Yep. Okay.
All right, siege workshop. What are we doing?
I mean, if anyone makes petards over here, that would be sick.
We've seen it before from one of the players in the tournament. I don't know if it was these two.
Okay, Marauders from Darren. So isn't that what will allow tokens from stables?
Yes, tentative.
But more cav archers is the current idea with the rams, which is good. I guess you can get rams pushed through. You can also go to the sides, which is what Darren's doing, which I really like.
Yeah, I really like this. This is something that I've talked about in a lot of the games, is that if you have the lead, start applying pressure. Like, pressure does not necessarily have to be a full-scale attack. But if you put up a castle, that's going to annoy your opponent. If you come in from the side, you're going to start giving your opponent stuff that they have to acknowledge. And here we're seeing Karabast have to mount a full-scale retreat. And Darren looks like he's noticing the villagers are all gone, so he's looking around for them, wondering where the hell they are.
And ballistics is through, so these cav archers are gonna hit the shots. And now they're running under the castle.
Yeah, 20 cavalry archers is nothing to...
But
I like the wall up behind the retreat.
It's palisade walls, but yeah,
Still,
it's a nice idea though.
yeah, it was a little greedy. I think that he was in range of getting seen at any point in time there. I didn't change my visual for that, but it was very sneaky. I like it. And this is one of the instances where I will not be upset about this kind of retreat and play. Generally, this gets to be cockroaching, and I hate that, but this feels tactical. This feels intentional. I don't know if Karabast can come back from... Okay, there it is. There's the GG.
Yep. GG.
That was a hell of a showing from Darren.
That was a good game. Yeah, that was good. Good idea with cav archers, knights into rams to take out the buildings, forward castle. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out if the opponent is more active. I guess we might get that in the rest of the games in the set. And is well played from Darren, though. Good composition. Good timing on the age up, and would have liked more activity, but whenever Darren did come forward, was very active and knew the points to pressure. So really well done from Darren. We couldn't really see too much of Karabast in this game, but that's what the rest of the set is for. So
no, correct. And one thing that I do want to comment on, particularly in Darren's favor, is I like that there was a tech switch to knights, but not a full switch. We built just enough knights to support the cav archers, and then we did what I would say most people who want to play archer civs want to do. We built more archers. And I really like that, because I think that if I were playing this game in this way, that is exactly the transition that I would have made. Just make enough knights to help your aggression, and then lean back on your power unit. The battering rams we didn't really get to see much out of. I think mangonels are the better call there, just because skirmishers will eventually become a problem. And I prefer, especially when you already have a castle up and you're about to go into imp.
I mean, battering. He has knights though. He has knights for the skirms.
No, that's true. Yeah. But my point is, I don't really see what battering rams are contributing here. When you're this close to imp, there's nothing that these battering rams are going to do that your trebuchets and your Tarkans aren't already going to manage, and manage better, I would say.
If you get capped rams and siege rams, they would take out buildings a lot faster if that helps.
Oh, sure, but in the time it takes you to do that, unless you already happen to have 4 or 5 battering rams on the field, your trebuchets are going to be just as effective, in my opinion.
True. Yeah, I think over here, Darren dominated this set. I think it's fair to say.
This game, not the set. I haven't seen the set.
This game, yeah. Rest of set, hopefully, we'll get a close set with Karabast making some kind of comeback, and we'll see more from Karabast in the next game, hopefully. That's what I hope. So let's see.
Karabast, my final critique for this game, we stopped building villagers. That's always a pain point for Dennis and I. It's so much easier to lean on your economy when you have an economy to lean on. I like the wall-up.
Yeah.
Wallop was really good. And we were reacting. We were just kind of being a little passive with it. But especially as Goths, more villagers equals more farms equals more Huskarls. If assuming that's your end game, which I feel like is a fairly safe assumption. So no. Otherwise, good game, both players. Game 1 goes to Darren.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to say something about Karabast, I know we wanted to close it up, but just this is if you make Man at Arms, I know massing Man at Arms seems like a good idea, but that's like a continuation, maybe later. The initial Man at Arms, you want to pressure to get value out of them. I think being passive with the Man at Arms didn't really work, and I personally, from the position where you wanted to defend against cav archers, I think going for mangonels and pikes as Goths would have probably been better for you to get some map control. With skirms, it's very reactive. You can't really move out because just a couple of light cav from Huns could take the skirms out. So yeah,
I do agree on the opening portion. We built militia, we built man-at-arms, and we built spearmen to support them, and we did so relatively quickly, and then they stood on our base. That's rough. The whole point of building those units and building them that early and that efficiently is so that we can disrupt our opponent, so that our now more slowly moving economy can catch up and overcome our opponent. If those military guys are standing in our base doing nothing, then they're not providing any value to the strategy. I definitely think that passivity coupled with the low economy numbers that we're seeing here really contributed to not necessarily even a passive game, but a game that was not allowed to be active based on that series of misplays. So, okay, cool. I'm going to pause it. We're going to move forward on to the next one.
Sounds good.
And 1, 2, 3, play. All right, we're back, and this is game 2 for Darren in the red, now as the Hindustanis, versus Karabast in the blue as the Bulgarians. And I cannot help but feel like this is the 4th time we've seen the Bulgarians in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, the infantry.
It's a lot.
Everyone loves infantry. I mean, or a lot of players like infantry, it seems like. And we saw Goths in the first game, Bulgarians in this game. I do like the fact that you can Krepos rush and pressure the center. I don't know if anyone's gonna plan to chop the reeds in the corner of the map. I hate playing this map. I usually ban them, but you do have two options to play this, and you kind of also have to. I mean, I would definitely outpost the sides if I was forced to play on this map, so that I know if someone's actually planning to cut through the sides as well. But the center is pretty wallable. It's worth going to the center early to take the gold. I definitely. I mean, I don't know if this was something that was thought of, but Hindustani scouts do more damage to buildings and walls. So maybe if there's a wall off in the center, maybe Hindustani scouts. That's part of it. I don't know. I don't know what thought went into Hindustanis here. Maybe Darren just wants to boom it out. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm going to pick a fight about this lumber camp over here, Karabast. You're building to the terminal edge of a small wood line. So what that means is as you progress through that wood line, your villagers are going to become less and less efficient as they move on.
I mean, from Karabast's point of view, if you see his scouting real quick, that's the only wood line that he has scouted so far. Maybe that's why.
Perhaps they're not familiar with the map. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So we're on the Pokeball, which means you want to keep going a little bit further out, and you'll see the edge. That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
We should be familiar with the map, right? Because, I mean...
That is part of the job.
Unless Karabast picked Darren's home map, I don't think that would be the case, but I don't have the map draft right in front of me, but the general idea would be that you will pick your home map to stay in the set.
True. Can you build in the middle of Quarry? I'm assuming?
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
okay.
It's just cracked terrain. You'll take bonus damage if buildings are attacked, but you can still build on it. Yeah.
Okay. I feel bad. I didn't believe Nilly when I first saw a game with cracked terrain in it, and he said, "Yeah, that's cracked terrain. You can't, or you can build on it, but it takes more damage." I thought I was getting trolled.
To be fair, Nilly is known to troll, so.
And he does it with such a straight face. It's so hard to tell.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
We miss you, Nilly.
I mean, he's been active. He's been putting out the recap of AoE scene and everything. So maybe he'll be back. We never know. So
yeah,
maybe not in full-time capacity, but he'll probably still make content.
I hope so. I enjoyed Nilly. I've enjoyed your Mondays, even though I often did not know what was going on. Okay, now, Mr. Darren. We saw a lot of idle time there during that boar pull, and that's fine. That's totally normal. Boar pulling is an intensive sport. However, there's an easy way to avoid it. A, keep clicking Q every opportunity you get in Dark Age. B, if you know you're going to have to be doing something micro-intensive, like pulling a boar, or even fighting a scout, or sending your military in, go back to your town center and hit Q a bunch of times. Just queue up several villagers so that you can be idle for a little bit. That way your town center will keep working. And Karabast isn't off the hook either, because I noticed they idled their TC at the exact same time too.
Yeah,
So-
Darren is idle with the scout, but as I say that now, okay, that was for pushing, I guess, or I don't know.
Very slow pushing, yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
That is push video.
Nope.
Yeah, I mean, you can just come to the center, mill the deer, and try to control it.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I feel like I don't like pushing deer.
I mean, to be fair, it's Bulgarians, and maybe milling the center is not the best move because you get free man at arms upgrade. Maybe you can just pressure them off that spot.
Here comes the barracks.
But yeah. If I'm playing this map, I'll definitely look at the sides and see if it's outposted. If it's not, I'll definitely think of chopping through and
I think it's
take my
worth
opponent off
chopping through.
guard. Yeah.
Or you just build a siege workshop there and never use it as an intimidation tactic.
Oh yeah. One of the many reasons why I don't like this map.
Yeah. This is a stressful map.
Yeah. Even if you wall behind, like you said, once you have the
Okay.
siege workshop and imp, it's all kind of going to be open. So I don't
Okay.
know.
So we've got our first militia, and we've got no follow-up militia after that. That's a little awkward. Because again, this is kind of the same thing we were seeing last time. Okay, there we go. We caught up. We got a couple more. That's fine. But I want to see them go forward. Let's see them just immediately. They don't have to be the perfect ideal composition to start being aggressive. You can go back to your barracks and grab them, or even set a waypoint a little forward and grab them into your cursor group as you're fighting. It takes a little headspace, and it's definitely micro intensive, but you can do it. Especially if we pick off the scout while he's pushing deer. There we go. Okay, they're coming forward.
Yep, man at arms.
This is what we were looking for last game from Karabast, and I bet this one might pay off a little better. Because that is a juicy forage bush. Good response from Darren. Probably saw it coming. Just because, Bulgarians. And good micro from the man-at-arms pulling them off, and we are pulling that fourth man-at-arms forward. Good stuff. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'd prefer to hear. Or prefer to see. And we've completely idled that food income. And we're moving forward to the back, and we're walling up on that from the wood line. That's good to see. Good job, Darren. And a really good, efficient wall up with that villager to make sure that we have the time to do so.
Oh, you need to.
But you do need to close the rest of it.
But yeah, I think this is going to be through. No reaction so far.
No, yeah.
And
That's okay.
it's okay. You just pull your villagers and make an archery range. Ooh, you don't have a barracks yet. That's going to be rough.
That's rough. Tower, yep. Okay, tower into a wall up. I actually like that a little bit. It's not great, but you do definitely need to send a villager here to wall off that gold mine. Otherwise, they can just sit there.
Oh, there's a tower there now, so...
True. Yeah.
But villagers that are walled out of the gold, though, that is something.
Now, Darren does have 280 gold, so really walling the villagers off isn't a super problem.
So Darren now sees that these marathons are not going to be attacked because they're just going to take out the tower. So what would Darren do? Darren has the wood to make an archery range. Hasn't really dropped one so far. Karabast is thinking of blacksmith, which probably means just leaning into the infantry, as we've seen before.
Okay. Wait a minute.
And the tower is almost down, and...
Oh, and they're sealed in. Okay, Darren, that was not perfect, but... Because obviously they're sealed in with 8 villagers that are about to die. But it is cool to see. Are they just going to get out?
They're not about to die, but they are...
Oh, no, because they walled up behind them, yeah.
Yeah, and even if yeah, that's actually very well done with the wall up, actually.
Oh, I think this is a little overcommitment to this, unfortunately. Yeah, I think the effort of coming around to seal them in was a good idea, but only if we had already had a villager over there. I think we took a little too long. I don't think sealing them up was. You've already theoretically idled him with having to micro his military for so long. I think that now we're idling our own eco, but we're fixing that, and that's good to see. Like the mill.
Yep.
Like the stable. We're realizing we don't have military buildings, so that's good.
Okay.
Okay, pretty good defense, but there's more man-at-arms coming. Yeah, I feel like if you're going up against Karabast, the answer is to just wall up immediately.
The answer is an archery range.
Yes, and
even
an archery range.
would do well, yeah. I mean, you're playing against Bulgarians. I think this should have been expected, regardless of whether you're playing against Karabast or not. So...
Well, if I remember correctly, Karabast did this in round 1 too, so with the same civ.
Yeah, definitely something that.
Now we're going bloodlines. I mean,
knights do well against man-at-arms, but scouts don't. So
yeah, knights aren't going to be here anytime soon.
Yeah, when you're in feudal age, probably not the best, but Darren has the goal to market abuse. Yeah, market abuse and go up if Darren chooses to. Is on stone to have Cray Post later.
Who's on stone? Oh, Karabast. Karabast is on stone.
Oh, sorry. Karabast is on stone. Yeah, that's true.
There's a blacksmith.
Okay, blacksmith market. I think Darren's just planning to be greedy. Just go up without army. And like I said, I think with Bulgarians having map control, Cray Post drops are imminent. So, yeah.
Yeah, we need 20 gold in some way. Okay, there we go. We're gonna wall up to secure the.
Maybe not imminent.
There we go.
Yeah. Castle clicked up, and a lot of idle time for both. But since both players are idling, it's still worth it for Karabast to do all this damage.
Yeah, I think continuing to make man-at-arms is not the correct call at the moment. I think that you accept that this is your attack, and you just go up to Castle Age and start worrying about the next age.
I mean, it's also how Darren's reacting, right? No archery range so far. So...
Yeah, this is pretty greedy from Darren. I think that building an archery range is definitely the way to go.
And the stable is also about to be down next. I think I would prioritize next military building. And blacksmith is in range, so maybe not that, but take the houses out as well.
Yes.
And
we're gonna start seeing villagers. Second barracks coming up. Are we gonna start seeing villagers come up to drop a Krepos? 14 farms for blue.
How much? 350 on 350 for one Cray Post, right? I think he'll have just
right.
enough. Yeah. There is a villager coming forward. I don't know, is it a one villager Cray Post?
I'll be honest, with this kind of response, I feel like a one villager Cray Post is fine.
You can even drop Siege Workshop. It might be a Siege Workshop, honestly. Forward. Yeah.
We are starting to lose military because of that town center.
Okay, the villager is not really...
I like the long swordsman going to the
Siege
back.
Workshop. Yep.
There it is. Okay. Okay. Now, these scouts are dead. Like, they are not going to survive that encounter.
They have bloodlines, so...
Still.
I mean, but yeah, there's more units coming in, and yeah. There's a lot of weak builds here, and yep, there's another dead villager, there's another dead villager, and probably another dead villager soon. Thinking about it, farm. Oh, garrison! That villager is living dangerously right now.
Okay, now I don't like the battering ram for this particular moment. I really do think mangonels are the way to go.
Yeah, I think mangonels.
Because the mangonel can range the TC, and you've already got long swords to protect it. Dennis and I argue about this point. Dennis likes battering rams. I like mangonels. I think in this moment.
I think in this moment, mangonels work.
Yeah. Mangonels can come around and take out those pesky villagers on that back end base that you can't get into.
I mean, for me personally, I would make mangonels only when I have pikes.
We're garrisoning into them. Okay. All right. I mean, sure, I'll take it.
All right, let's see how this goes. I mean, there is a cray post to protect the rams from being sniped, and there's also the longswords in there. So
I like that he brought the battering ram full of dudes forward so that the TC would target the battering ram, and then release the longswordsman. That was really well done. I still think a mangonel's the better call, but a camel. Okay.
Camel's gonna do worse than a knight.
Yeah, that's got to be a misclick, right?
Wait, don't Hindustanis get knights?
Maybe not.
I don't think. I remember vaguely that. Ooh,
there it is. Over. Okay, I'm gonna look that up real quick while you describe what we saw. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it should be fairly easy to look up, right? So I think if I'm
looking it up.
Hindustanis here.
No, they do not get knights.
Yep, okay. I remember that.
Well,
I remember after casting.
There's parts of this game for Karabast that I'm not the biggest fan of. However, it's hard to argue with the result.
Yeah, I think it's just the reaction from Darren, right? Once you see man-at-arms, my initial reaction is to drop an archery range. Yeah. It's probably the most standard response I've seen from people. Mm-hmm. Going stable units, especially in Feudal Age against longswords, is going to be rough.
I think Darren's initial plan, the wall up at the back, was very well done, but I think it made them a little maybe overconfident, and they started to lean on that a little too much. It would have definitely been a better situation if part of that wall up was an archery range. Or even perhaps if on the other side of that wall up you had your mill villagers, your guys down south making the farms, build an archery range there. Because I think Dennis is correct. Even skirmishers would have been better than the tower, because again, man-at-arms can just destroy the tower. There are ways that towers can defend against man-at-arms, but they either require walls in front, so they can't be meleeed, or they require your villagers to take the risk and get into the fight, which they can do. They're just not very good at it. And obviously, as that progresses from man-at-arms to longswordsman, it's going to be even worse. But I definitely think the reaction from Darren was a little greedy, for sure. When you have Bulgarian man-at-arms on your face, idling your eco, you have to think, my opponent is getting to Castle Age faster than me, which means these man-at-arms that are annoying me are going to become very, very dangerous very, very quickly. It is much better for you to stay in the Feudal Age for a little bit longer and build up some archers to counteract that. Because if you can correctly micro your archers, you can start whittling down on those man-at-arms numbers before they become very dangerous. That's my takeaway. That being said, Karabast, this was handled very well. Again, you weren't really pressured, so it's a little hard to... I'd like to see how this player handles this level of aggression while they're getting counterattacked. But that being said, even though there are parts of this execution that I don't like, it was really well executed. What do you got, Dennis?
Yeah, it's very well done. Man-at-arms, follow up with some kind of range. I guess Karabast just thought, let him go to castle, drop a cray post, and just ram down the buildings. I think it would have still been interesting if there was an archer switch. How would Karabast have reacted? Would the response been the same? Would the cray post drop? It'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, we'll see that as the series is now tied and we are going to Game 3 stretch.
I gotta mark the blue dot. I will say another a point in the hat of building the archery range in response to this. You have to keep your head on your shoulders and remember what civ you are playing, because the Hindustanis have awesome hand cannoneers. So against Bulgarians, you're probably going to want to build an archery range eventually anyway. So it would do you well to already have those on the field. So far with Darren, based on these two games specifically, I appreciate the attempt to get up to Castle Age quickly. However, it's not always the right call, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, against Bulgarians, I think I would have probably, if I play Hindustanis, I'll probably think archers into cav archers, probably.
Sure.
Because you're expecting infantry from Bulgarians. But yeah, it's an interesting civ pick for sure. Let us know in the comments if you're watching this, and also for the other viewers, if you had any civ bonuses in mind which made you pick Hindustanis here. But yeah, late game, like Scratch said, if you actually did make it to Imp, then things could have been maybe different. But yeah, there's a lot of steps to getting there, and this map is a pain to actually manage to even get to Imp without taking eco damage. So
yeah,
this is.
That being said, Darren, your wallops are phenomenal. I wish I could do this half the time. Even though they were not successful in this game, they didn't win it for you. You are still consistently better at getting your defenses up than I have ever been. We just need to consider, cool, the wall's helpful, but how do we stop the aggression? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is an archery range in this specific moment. So yeah, good, well played from both players. We're going on to game 3. I'm going to pause it. And 1, 2, 3, play. Alright, and this is game 3 for the group stage of Hidden Community Cup Jean Bureau for Karabast and Darren. Karabast in blue as the Spanish, and Darren as my favorite, the Byzantines, in red. And this is game 3. I don't know why I just reintroduced what we're doing and what the players are, but that's what we're doing. It's
what happens when we pause and resume. Yep. You feel like new session.
Yeah.
And,
what am I doing? Why am I here? So Dennis and I were talking briefly before we started that I found when I was looking into the players before the tournament started, and it doesn't seem like they've picked any of those civs in this game. I think you mentioned that some civs were banned, but none of these were. I had him down for Burgundians, Khmer, and Celts. Any of those banned?
Burgundians, France is banned, if that counts.
I think that counts.
Okay, yeah.
Wow. Darren has 264 matches. That is almost twice what the second most matches in this tournament is for this bracket.
Oh, some sheep scouting by Karabast.
Yeah. Oh no, this cow just wanted to hang out with these cows. Oh, okay. I'm going back home. Oh, we have some cow scouts for Darren too. Do you think it reached out between matches? It's like, hey, we should really cow scout.
I don't know. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
Darren hasn't really taken the boar in villager number 10. I guess it's just normal. Is it?
So I've noticed that Darren usually seems to do what you're describing of getting the boar first and then build the lumber camp, whereas Karabast builds the lumber camp first.
No, I was saying that Darren hasn't gotten the board. Okay, now he is loading the board now. That's good. And Karabast is probably also going for it. No, not yet.
That was a perfect TC boar kill by Darren. Wow.
Oh, I missed it.
It was flawless.
Nice.
Now, actually, no. Okay, I can't say it was flawless because he did kill the cow, and now he's not getting food from the cow. So
he killed the cow by shooting with the TC?
No. He his villagers queued to the cow, killed the cow, then jumped into the TC to kill the
Oh,
boar, and now the cow's sitting there decaying.
that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think
I can't
I don't
call
think
it flawless.
that's
It's
okay.
not flawless. It's good, but it's not flawless. Now I like this wall up from blue, and I'm noticing that Darren is already on gold.
Yeah, is
So are we going to see more shenanigans? Okay. Dennis makes fun of me. Before my first tournament, while I was 500 something elo, I had logged 154 Byzantine games. Because I was like, I'm going to pick one Civ, and I'm going to play exclusively that Civ. And I picked Byzantines. I don't really know why, but I did, and I love them. That being said, I don't like Militia Rush as Byzantines.
I knew you were going for this.
It
I
doesn't
knew-
really like
All right,
they
yeah.
don't benefit like them you being Byzantines does not really provide anything to that strategy.
Okay, I don't think you're going to where you were. I thought you were going. Okay, continue.
Oh, wait.
Is it just that? That was it?
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
your
no,
point?
yeah. My point is that Byzantines don't really bring anything to the table if that's the strategy you're going for. I think that you can lean on a multitude of strategies as Byzantines, but that one is not something they benefit from. Archers, they're great at. Towers, they're great at. Stables, they're great at.
I'm
So,
thinking this is just a passive fast castle with no army in feudal age from Darren. That's my guess.
given that it's Darren, I'm guessing it's going to be a really greedy fast castle. That's my assumption, just based on the last two games. Karabast is doing Karabast things. We've already got a barracks in the works.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly if Darren is known for that, but yeah, I mean, we know that in Castle Age, Darren starts to get the army sorted, but yeah, in early game, there is a window for the opponents to attack, and that's something that Darren needs to kind of practice and see what minute changes can be done to have some army activity and map control in feudal age so that you don't really easily surrender map control to your opponents.
Now,
Uh,
go ahead. You were mid sentence. Go ahead.
oh, I'm done.
Okay.
Go.
I'm gonna pick on Karabast for a second because I'm very confused. We're building a farm, but meanwhile, we went to the trouble of going away from our primary bushes to build a mill on some hunt that we're not getting. So we've got idle time from walking, idle time from building the mill, and then we're getting berries next to hunt. Okay, we're transitioning to hunt, and that's cool, but this is a very awkward stage of this process for me because hunt is way better than berries. I think, if I remember correctly, berries is like the slowest thing you can do other than farming. And to purposefully go here and build the mill, my guess is that the villagers were queued to build the mill and then they weren't given any instructions, so they just defaulted to the berries first. That's my thinking. But you've got 4 zebras. I prefer to see you going on those zebras immediately, just to tighten that, especially if you're going militia for sure, which we're now seeing.
Okay.
And now we're seeing a double archery range from Darren. So I'm not gonna say that Karabast is a one-trick pony, but this could be a read. You know, I feel like once you're into, I want to say 5 games played, and we've seen infantry in almost all of them, I want to say, I feel like going double archery range is a very good play. That being said, double archery range is expensive.
Oh, Man at Arms is delayed because the scouts are actually dragging the infantry back. Oh, it's worth actually just running back to Blue's base. That way you're just delaying. Okay, I guess you can also make them run
Circle.
around, yeah, in circles. Oh, okay, all right. But one archer is already out, so you can kind of start chipping away at the infantry. And now this villager is seen, spotted. But yeah, we know that
But we're wall.
Darren can quick wall.
Yeah, I don't know if calling it quick walling is fair. It's definitely quicker than I can manage, so I'll call it a fast wall. we're gonna call it a fast wall. But it's definitely, I will say, it's 100%. Okay.
But you need to keep going.
Yeah, he's going. He lost one. Yeah. I will say, Darren's Villager micro is definitely the best that we've seen out of these group of 8 players. For sure. This is clearly the thing that Darren shines at.
Yeah. Darren's actually chopped through soon and can take the lure more boars from the center. This must be Darren's home map, if I am not wrong. So that should be most likely the plan for Darren right now. I mean, at least that's what I would think. When you're chopping through, might as well get the 100 or 400 food that you'll get from the hunt, which is pretty quick as well.
Well, and also, just a point of fact, because of the cheaper skirmishers and the spearmen from Byzantines, a Byzantine player that doesn't need farms is, that much more dangerous, right? Because their units are already so much cheaper. So, not having to supplement your army with wood for farms, which when you're building double archery ranges is my assumption, right? I feel like you've got to be going out hunt. That's got to be the call.
Yeah, now the archers are going to move forward, so it's going to be interesting to see what...
now, that being said, Karabast is completely walled off. Or
and has skirms.
Hang on.
And also has skirms.
Is there a hole?
Yeah.
Is there a hole?
I don't think so.
Beside that skirmisher on the hill?
The hills are always hard to say. I mean, one good thing. I mean, if Karabast already tried it, and that's why the skirm is actually right next to that spot, probably clicked in and checked, but I'm not sure. But yeah, there's skirms here, so I think the archers would need to move around.
I like the skirms and the man-at-arms. I think I'd prefer a couple more man-at-arms to accompany the skirms.
Yeah, let's see how Darren's micro is here, and that was clicked. And I mean, you are fighting skirms, so you need to leave.
Okay, not bad, not great, but not bad.
Yeah, you're fighting against skirms. So, I mean, right now you could think of going... Okay, stable is what Darren is thinking about, so that's going to be a more longer feudal age from Darren. So, let's see what... we know from our caster's point of view that this side is walled, so this scout transition is probably going to be good for Karabast, but Karabast is also... Actually, Karabast has clicked up as well, so this is actually really good for Karabast at the moment. So,
now, I will say I would only build 2 scouts. I think I would only build 2 scouts to accompany this. You've already got a really good archer mass to the point where you are going to start whittling down at these skirmisher numbers, especially since you have fletching. Now, that being said, once they get up to castle age and then get elite skirmisher or the armor upgrade comes in, you're going to stop losing that advantage. But by then, hopefully, your 2 scouts will be showing up. But unfortunately, those stables aren't doing anything. Now, that sound is the cue to pull your archers back, and that looks like that's what Darren's wanting to do. Just slowly. Now, what Dennis was saying there is that the micro against skirmishers, if you have a ton of archers, it works, but generally speaking, just pull them back. Now, because you had fletching and you actually had more archers than you had skirmishers, you were getting kills, and that's fine, but your archers were slowly but surely dying. If we could have backed that up with a scout or 2, that would have been preferred, or even a skirmisher of our own, that would have been great, but because we didn't have the home court advantage of having our archery ranges right there, we were eventually going to be losing that fight.
So Castle is clicked up, and Darren is playing passively, so the castle age advantage is not being used in terms of an extra TC
Karabast.
or
Karabast.
Karabast.
There's
But
a
yeah,
TC.
as I say that,
TC on the
there
stone.
is a TC going up. It is on stone, so it's not exactly a boom to get an eco lead. It's more of probably a castle drop in the long run, which is not bad. But against Byzantines, I mean, it's all about timing, so it could work. But let's see how this goes around. We know this side's walled up, but there are archers. It's not crossbow yet, but Imscum is in, but there are 2 scouts as well. So scouts can dive in. Archers probably just keep your distance, and the scouts can just fight. I don't know why Darren's pulling the scouts back. Because you can always run once your scouts have lower HP. Once you're in castle, get monks to heal them up if you want them to. But
Now, I like the forward stable. I frankly think that's where the first stable should have gone, but... Now, I will say, Dennis, and I have said this a couple times, that generally speaking, when you're playing as archers, especially if you've already committed to 2 ranges, the answer is going to be more archers. Maybe not more archers immediately, but more archers eventually. I don't like seeing 2 archery ranges built in Castle Age, but idle. You know, think of how strong this mass would be if you had 20 crossbowmen about to pop over, right? Because 20 crossbowmen versus 10 skirmishers with 2 scouts to back them up, that's ugly. Karabast is about 2/3 of the way to castle for stone.
Yeah, I think the castle's also going defensively. I don't think Karabast is thinking about
I think it has to
pushing
be,
up.
right?
Yeah, because you only have skirms. You can't really push the scouts, or you could expect knights since there were multiple scouts before.
We've got knights.
And there's armor for the knights as well. So, yep.
Now this
They're probably walking towards their death if they are spotted.
I think so.
But
I like the knights being built
on
the back stable while the front stable researches. I actually like that a lot.
I mean, you have 10 archers. I think it's worth getting the crossbow upgrade. But even if you think you're going for Cav Archer, yeah, this is where you kind of... Is it worth forcing down a wall for the skirmish and skirms there? Just let your skirms come in. They're just going to die to knights. I don't think you needed to...
Maybe he was trying to sell it.
I mean, maybe that's part of the fun, right? Everyone enjoys different things in the game. Maybe Darren likes to one day become a quick wall master and kind of be defensive in terms of walling. We all kind of watch pro players and then try to emulate them and fail miserably, but enjoy the process of trying. So maybe that's part of it.
I don't think it's fail miserably. I think we fail within our capacity because we are not Viper.
Yeah,
Viper managing to quick wall whilst limited is... I hate watching it. It makes me upset.
While still limited, did you?
I'm caught up. I love limited Viper. It's the best.
Yeah. He was definitely struggling with the with that, but yeah, he still managed to do it.
So that's my game over screen. So that's the first crash.
I'm guessing there's a crash. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. So that should be a pause for us.
And 1, 2, 3, play. All right, we're back. And while we were bringing up the second part of this marathon of this set, because we had a crash here, and now it's funky. I noticed a couple things. Mr. Darren, I'm a big fan of Byzantines. I really like them. I think you're doing a great job, but I think that we've got 2 archery ranges, and we cut through the center on Hidden Forts. We've got these nice, juicy rhinoceroses right there. I think we would have been better off, as Dennis mentioned, building a mill, getting some hunt, and transitioning the wood on these farms towards archers, because with 2 archery ranges by Castle Age, I would hope to have 20 crossbowmen. Because right now you're building a siege workshop, and you know what's really scary to accompany a siege workshop? A mangonel and 20 crossbowmen on top of it. Especially against skirmishers. That's a really scary combination. Throw in some knights on top of it, you've got a winning composition. And I'm going to double down on this critique because we don't even have horse collar yet. And that's frustrating. Meanwhile, the Spanish... Whoa, look at these sneaky knights! Do you see that?
You're talking about sneaky knights. Yeah.
Sneaky knights.
There's also
hiding in the bushes.
There. Okay.
That was really funny.
Okay. Yeah, but the cost can deal with them. But yeah, could get some will kills potentially.
Now, I know a lot of people really like conquistadors. I'm not a big fan of them, especially not in Karabast's current situation, because I would say arbalists are really good against conquistadors, and Byzantine castles kind of shut them down when they're built on top of Byzantine farms. So I'm not sure if that's the play. And also, this castle stops being defensive right now, because it's not really contributing to anything. It's sort of like a halfway forward castle. It's not really aggressive, but it's not really defensive either. It's sort of just in the middle. So it's a little bit of an awkward position to be playing in. But behind this, we're making more and more military. That's cool to see. We do have a mangonel coming out for Darren. I'd still like to see more archers. I think that's your power unit right now over knights.
I'd like Karabast to boom it out. I think idling right now is not great. Not really making more conquistadors is also not great. But maybe, just maybe, Karabast is thinking about kind of going... I mean, even if you're going to Imp, I think you need to queue up more wills right now to...
Well, yeah, you only got 8 farms.
Or you just sell all your wood to get the gold necessary to click up. It's a very odd situation right now. I don't know what... I wish I can read what Karabast is thinking at the moment.
Yeah, it's a really weird position, because like I said, this castle isn't really aggressive. But
okay, right now the Conquistador production resumes, so maybe there's that's a clue of what Karabast is thinking. Pikes and Conquistadors seems to be the idea, but you need to think about what can be countered by Conquistadors. It's archers and skirms, so you need to think about, okay, how do I counter archers and skirms? Right now with pikes and Conquistadors, do knights or camels or anything that have mounted actually counter Conquistadors? I don't think so. So I don't understand the pike transition at the moment. Maybe Spanish would eventually make a mangonel, and it's to protect the
he did see knights.
Yeah, but knights are not really scary for conquistadors, right?
Well, okay. Now this might be giving Karabast a bit too much credit. Not only did he see knights, but if he's paying really close attention, he knows Darren has 2 stables. And he knows this because he saw 2 stable units before the visual stable was built.
Yeah.
So maybe he's thinking an overcommitment from Darren on knights, help have the pikemen in the front, protect the conquistadors, back them up with monks, maybe?
I mean, even if you have an overcommitment on knights, right? I think if you have enough conks, 7 conks, you can just hit and run all day, and those knights are not going to do anything.
True. That's pretty micro-intensive. I'm not that good at hit and running, not with conquistadors. But
Conquistadors is a very fun unit, Scratch. You should do a game with only Conquistador challenge and see how that goes. Yeah, and maybe you can make Hussar if you survived until late game. But
a lot of techs coming out of the blue camp right now.
Yep.
Ballistics, okay.
Got Loom just now. So.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And Red did correct the horse collar.
I like the counterattack from Conks, and there's no castles in defense for Byzantines yet.
Yeah.
So this is going to be...
Third stable.
Conks in Unico is going to be painful. I mean, right now, Darren is 20 villages up, but Kongs and Eco can change that very, very quickly.
Very quickly, yeah. I want to see Darren transition into the middle. What I'm afraid of is that they're going to commit to this tech switch to Knights when they see Conquistadors. I really think that like we need to lean on the archers. We've got a forward castle, that's cool. I'd like to have developed the middle earlier, especially since it's not contested. Unfortunately, that castle is going to probably go in the least useful position when these conks show up. But Darren's usually pretty quick about babysitting his villagers, so maybe we see this. And he's got quite a lot of army. That mangonel could do some work if he can keep them off of it. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and okay. Good little raid, but I like that we're pulling back instead of overcommitting. And are we sending knights in? Can that mangonel chop down trees yet? Not yet, right? It's an onager that does that, I think.
Yep.
And these knights are unfortunately going to find out that Darren has not been productive in that regard. Or, sorry, Karabast has not been productive in that regard.
Yeah, Karabast hasn't been cutting to the center.
Which is to their advantage at the moment.
Yeah, so you have all that gold in the center,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Now these knights. Now I did want to mention that Darren's wall is actually not even a wall. They can just walk through the berries right there, and that little alcove that they uncovered. Now the conks are back just to be annoying. I like this. I don't think this is the winning move for Karabast, but I mean, it can be. I've watched you do this where you're just annoying enough to get a win. I still have memories of that game. That was wild. Now these conks are unfortunately getting very, very annoying. We're already up to, what is that, 7 kills? 7 eco kills?
12 kills for the Kongs so far. Eco kills I can't see, but yeah. So far this Conquistador group has 12 kills, 13.
Now, 12 knights, even if you're hit and running, 12
you need
knights.
a hit and run. You need a hit and run. Hit and run, you can keep the distance. You'll one-shot the knight in front every time. You'll be fine.
Yeah, but the knights seem faster.
I don't think there's husbandry for Karabast, but yeah, anyway.
And the TC's waiting for the Conquistadors, I like that. And then they're running back. Oh, if we hadn't pulled the knights back. Where the hell did that spearman come from? What?
Oh, did we miss some
Yeah,
kind of
what
skirmisher
happened?
raid? I guess there was a skirmisher raid on the right.
Okay,
but
trying a little pincer movement, I like it. Now we've got cataphracts. Cataphracts are a great unit. I don't know if they're good in this
Against
situation. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mostly for infantry, so...
So, I mean, they're going to be great against those pikemen that we haven't seen yet. They're not going to be good against the Conquistadors. But they are also a really cool unit. You know, it's also a really cool unit? Archers. You know what kills Conquistadors? Archers. I'm looking at these 2 archery ranges and they're just making me sad. I will say, because Conquistadors benefit from ranged unit armor, right?
Conquistadors don't get ranged. They are mounted gunpowder, so
Do they
they
get...
they get cav archer armor. I mean, so basically archer armor, but they don't really get the range. The range is
Right,
from
okay.
maybe they get. I don't even think they get it from anything else. No, I don't. I think it's just the armor. They only get armor.
Okay.
They're not siege, so siege engineering shouldn't work. Chemistry they'll get benefit from, but that's about it.
I like that we're keeping the Conquistadors mounted. We're getting elite, or I'm sorry, mounted, moving.
Elite is amazing.
And we're kind of continuing to apply pressure in different points for Karabast. So this is really nice. That Mangonel's doing some work, though. And that looks like a targeted shot. How many kills that Mangonel have, Dennis, before it dies?
I mean, it's just skirms and pikes here, so I think unless...
Yeah, those
I think
cataphracts
the
need to
pikes
move in.
will...
Okay, they're starting to. We can move the knights in too, they can help.
Why would you do a trash war? Oh, these
Okay.
players have had 2 crashes so far.
Yep.
How many crashes do you expect by the end of this game? Leave a comment.
So if you saw the Darren is victorious, please ignore that. This is a crash. So we're gonna pause and we're gonna move forward.
Imagine if this was actually a GG.
If that was the GG,
I lost my mangonel. Actually, it's Karabast. So yeah, I lost my skirm.
I saw Cataphracts on the other side of that wood line. I hate that unit.
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair, Karabast is an infantry player. He should hate the Cataphract. Part 3 so far of game 3. 1, 2, 3, play. And we're back. And this is probably going to get edited out. I don't know. We'll play this one by ear. This is a lot of technical difficulties. We've got Cataphracts coming in. I love this unit because they can kind of ignore those halberdiers in terms of their damage output if they're supported, which they're not. So, but they did clean it up. Yeah, if those knights had been there to deal with those skirmishers, that would have gone very differently. And again, if we had had the nice, fat archer mass. But hey, I can't complain about a tech switch. I will, however, say that as a Byzantines player, I do find myself tech switching a lot to the point of doing it when you don't necessarily benefit from a full tech switch. I don't hate the second castle from Darren. I like the second castle from Karabast, but it needs to go up very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think both players have been playing very passively, right? I don't even think...
bit.
I mean, no trebs so far from both players. They're both in imp. So, I mean, as I say, that Karabast actually has trebs.
Okay.
So...
I don't know how I feel about
good.
Logistica after losing several Cataphracts.
What does Logistica do, Scratch?
Logistica gives your Cataphracts trample damage.
Okay.
And you know how they're good against infantry? It makes them even better against infantry. They are an absolute nightmare of a unit against infantry, but I don't really know about it at this stage. Could just be like a muscle memory thing, like knowing, hey, we like Logistica.
Oh. 14 conquistadors, elite conquistadors, coming through the map now.
Well, but it's all at the back castle. All that activity is at the other castle, unfortunately. Now we've got Cataphracts coming in, so Darren clearly knows that Logistica affects only Cataphracts, so that's good. Got the first treb out, and that treb can range a whole lot of stuff from inside of that wood line, and I think that's what Darren's thinking. Oh, is he gonna hit the mining camp first? That would be wild.
Probably distracted by the conquistador raiding.
True. Good on you to notice that, because I was not looking at that. I was watching a treb.
Yeah, I was looking at the conquistadors running through, but let's see how the micro looks like. I think
these conquistadors still don't have bloodlines, so these Cavalier are going to shred them once they catch up.
I think more than bloodlines, husbandry is the one that's lacking, because they can't really hit and run when you're slower than the knight right now.
I think these Cavalier will die eventually,
but you lost more conquistadors than you probably should have, because you're not really running fast enough.
Now, meanwhile, down south, we have 2 skirmishers boldly fighting this trebuchet. We do have more trebs en route, but they're behind a Cataphract.
No chemistry and no bombard cannon, just letting the castle go down. And if you're actually repairing, you need to target that treb somehow, and you don't really have...
And the Cataphracts are coming in to clean up these skirmishers, though. Now, I would, again, as Dennis said, I'd prefer to see these villagers
this treb's going to die to... Oh, no, they didn't die to the skirms.
It's close.
Yep. Alright, so Pike, Halb, and Conquistador. Not too bad.
I'd like to see Darren wall up that northern side of the map. Just full stone wall it, just to be safe. I don't know if that's necessary. Oh, we're chopping.
Okay, chopping the tree, yeah.
That was the other suggestion I was going to make, is that if you're not going to play super defensive on the north. You need to get really aggressive in the middle.
Okay, now it's open, and the best part is Darren would not know about it. Sorry, Karabast would not know about it because.
But he is moving in that direction anyway, perhaps. Now, I do think even if they're inside Fog of War, you can hear the sound. But
true. Probably why
that castle's
halves are
dead.
moving. Yep.
Okay, we've got Elite Cataphract coming up with Logistica, and there's 20 on the field, so these are going to be gross. And castle's done.
And now you see the Cataphracts, and I don't think Karabast knows about the anti-infantry of these, but does have a monk, so that could be one conversion. Yep.
Now, unfortunately, these Cataphracts aren't actually attacking. They're kind of just looking around, but they are making a gap for the Cavalier and the Skirmishers to get through. But I would really like to see these gold villagers move forward to build a castle to protect this gap so that we can start getting even more Cataphracts built, since that's the way that we're going. Now, Karabast's military is much larger in number, but they're not very well teched. We've got Bracer and we've got the Archer armor, but we've also got a lot of Halberdier and Conquistador that are kind of dying.
Yeah, because you need to take care of the scums.
Yeah.
I think other than the scums, you can kind of deal with them, but if the scums attack the Conquistador, it's harder to mask because you lost the castle just now.
Yeah, now we're starting to trickle units in for Darren, which is not a great look. Karabast has overtaken the score lead. We are continuing to raid with Conquistadors at the back to great effectiveness, I might add.
The Conquistador raid in the back.
But they're about to die to these Cavalier.
Yeah, because you need the micro, and there's no micro right now. And still no bloodlines in husbandry, no stable so far, and that.
Yeah, at this point, Darren needs to buy some stone, build a second Byzantine castle right on top of that primary town center, and start sniping these trebs. Cavalier, Hussar, it doesn't matter which. We're continuing to build villagers from red, which is good. Karabast, I think this is the same that we've seen from the other games. This is an economy that could be a lot stronger at this stage. And we'd have a lot more military as a result.
I like that Darren hasn't really forgotten to queue up villagers, and is eventually gonna overtake in eco by a lot.
Yeah. I really would like to see the Siege Workshop contributing in some way. Mangonels to cover this push, or bombard cannons in particular. Because while I like trebs, having one or two bombard cannons to deal with your opponent's trebs is always nice. Dang. Okay.
Alright.
Wait, GG well played? I'm confused.
Alright. Nice. Alright, good job from Darren. And,
okay. Did we not have the time file on this one correct? I thought this was much longer.
Oh, I guess the 59 is the total game time.
Huh, okay.
Yep.
Well, alright. We were coming into this with dread, thinking this was going to be a 2-hour-long set. But, okay. Anyway, surprise, GG well played to Darren. That's 2 to 1. Okay, this has been a little awkward. Had a couple crashes and stuff. What do you think overall, Dennis, about this game?
It was good. I think Darren did well again. Once Darren reaches Castle Age, knows a good composition that Darren knows to go for, and essentially just start pushing through. It was good. It was good from Darren to shut down Karabast. I still think the Karabast could have done a lot more to push back, but
I agree. I think that this middle gap could have been reinforced. We've got heaps of eco. We have knights or conquistadors for days. But we don't have
But yeah,
the production.
it's definitely hard to push back Byzantine
Yep.
possession. So it's definitely a win from Darren. But yeah, it definitely seemed like the eco raids weren't as annoying as you could have been as Spanish.
Yeah, husbandry and bloodlines will go far in that regard, for sure. I will also say that like conquistador raids are great, but conquistador raids on Byzantines are hard because they can always just build castles. Now, once you start seeing that your opponent is building forward castles to be aggressive, that's your cue to start sending in those conquistador raids because you know they can't just drop castles like that. We saw the first few conquistador raids, which by the way they were unupgraded at the time. We got 6 villager kills in a couple seconds. That's awesome. I definitely think this was a game that Karabast could have won. But I think like the other games in the set.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far to say that he had. I mean, I don't think he ever had a lead in this game, right?
No, the score lead switched once. They
yeah, but score lead before you fight is more of Darren's not making army or something like that.
True.
I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't read too much into the score. It could be an exploration. It could just be someone booming, so you don't really have the lead unless you start making your army and your army upgrades. So yeah, when you're playing, I generally don't really think too much about the score. But once every engagement almost went to Darren.
I do agree on that. Yeah. I think Karabast could have pulled this out, but we needed to pull these units away from the south and reinforce that middle, and then reacted with the conquistador raids. I do think this was overcomable instance for Karabast, because case in point, we have 6 trebuchets on the field. That's a lot. That will take out a Byzantine castle if it's supported. But that being said, there's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 barracks on the field, so maybe there's just a chance that we don't understand the Byzantine opponent that we're against. Halberdier are a great unit. They are not good against Byzantines because the cataphracts will just destroy them. It's I know it's not exactly quite that detrimental. Halberdier are perfectly fine against cataphracts, but they will die in the attempt. They're going to damage them, but they're not going to survive. It's kind of one of those weird counter units kind of deal. But I think a lot of this comes back down to we have a player in the red who has an extremely developed economy, and we have a player in the blue who has not as developed an economy. And I think that, especially when you're dealing with the long haul of pushing down Byzantine castles, that's something that is never gonna it's never gonna be a pleasant experience. Having this kind of bootstrapped economy. We got relics. We got 2 relics. That's good to see. Did Red get relics? Okay, I don't see a monastery for Red, and that's fine. I don't know. I think Spanish could have overcome this.
Oh yeah, the Spanish would have been tools for it, but
would have been an uphill battle. But
yeah, I think what you needed was to mass conquistadors. At no point did you have like 40 conquistadors.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, mass. I think the magic number is at least 30.
And I think you need conquistadors and hussars, and maybe you could do things with them. But yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of a tricky spot of like. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I never understood the pike push on the right side from Karabast. Seemed like
that was really an awkward moment.
It wasn't going to accomplish a lot. But it's just that you need gold units, and
we've got gold. We just don't. We're equal
really
parts. Yeah, we're equal parts. We have a lot of resources. We don't have a good economy, but we have a lot of resources, and we're not spending it. Again, 7 barracks against the Byzantines player that we already know is making cataphracts is really awkward. I agree with Dennis. A huge, like, imagine if you had come around the corner to deal with this northern town center with 30 conquistadors. You know what you would have seen? Army pulling back from the south. And that could have given you your moment to reinforce and gate up that position and start using those 6 trebs to start taking out those castles. Because it's not impossible to take out a Byzantine castle. The trick is to get them to pay attention to something else. And I think that's my primary takeaway with this game specifically. Overall, in the set, Karabast, you played a great set. We saw some aggression. You definitely took advantage of Darren being, in many respects, a more passive player, at least in the early game, for sure. It didn't go your way for the best of 3, but definitely a great showing from both players here. So, any final words there, Mr. Dennis?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Okay. Well, in that case, this was not a 2-hour-long game as we feared, but it was a 1-hour game or a 1-hour final for a great set, and we've got Darren getting 2-1 against Karabast in Hidden Cup 5 John Bureau bracket, and that's another win for Darren. So, good game, and have a good night, guys.